We would like to thank Podcorn for sponsoring this episode of TechTime Radio. Explore sponsorship opportunities and start monetizing your podcast by signing up at podcorn.com/podcasters. Let me tell you about Podcorn. Podcorn is an absolute must for any podcaster starting out. Now, when we started out TechTime Radio, we started out in a back office with a couple of mics. We expanded to a studio, and then now, as you can see, we're on the radio and have distribution into other markets. Having the ability to have Podcorn at the start of our podcast would have been a dream come true. Guess what? With Podcorn, you now have the amazing opportunity for podcasts to receive sponsorship, such as host reads, interview segments, and topical discussions. With Podcorn, there's no middleman. Podcasters of all sizes can browse and choose opportunities right on their platform, set their own rates, and collaborate with brands directly without exclusivities. You never give up the rights of your podcast in Podcorn, and they're here to support you everywhere possible. Visit podcorn.com. Again, that's podcorn.com. Podcorn is a true success for those starting their podcast dreams.
Broadcasting across the nation, from the East Coast to the West, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Welcome to TechTime with Nathan Mumm, the show that makes you go, Technology News of the Week, the show for the everyday person talking about technology, broadcasting across the nation with insightful segments on subjects weeks ahead of the mainstream media. We welcome our radio audience of 35 million listeners to an hour of insightful technology with a little whiskey on the side. I'm Nathan Mumm. Welcome to our show. We're live streaming during our show on 5 of the most popular platforms, including YouTube, Twitch.tv, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We encourage you to watch us live or visit us at techtimeradio.com or tweet us at hashtag TechTimeRadio during the show, and we'll do our best to respond to your questions. I'm your host, a technologist with over 30 years of expertise with companies from Microsoft to Vulcan Inc. and everything in between. I'm a keynote speaker on technology subjects from cybersecurity to blockchain. My co-host here, Mike Roday, is an award-winning author originally from Arizona. Mike's a human behavior expert living in the Seattle area with a master's degree in forensic psychology. His 20-plus year career helps him explore people and understand why they act the way they do. Mike keeps me from geeking out while providing an insight into human behavior and how it interacts with technology. We're two friends from different backgrounds, but bring the best technology show possible every week for our family, friends, and fans to enjoy.
Yeah, good recovery.
Well, you like that?
Yeah, it was good recovery.
You know what? This is going to be an interesting show today.
Yeah, why is that?
Well, you know what? So we were going to do originally a rebroadcast, but then we kind of decided, because after the 4th of July, since it wasn't the 4th of July, that we would do the show. And so it's been a long time since Nathan put together the whole show itself. So Nathan was up early this morning and trying to crank out the show. So hopefully we can give the best.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how all that works out.
How was your 4th of July, Mr. Gorday?
You know how my 4th of July was.
That's a pretty good day, wasn't it?
Yeah, we hung out and blew stuff up and drank and smoked and
smoked cigars and had a good old time, didn't we? It was a pretty good party. We were planning to have. This is the new thing that I'm learning. So now you can RSVP to parties, and if you just don't want to show up at the last minute, or if another party or something else wants to come up, all you have to do is blame COVID. You know that? Because literally people said, yeah, I'll be at the party. We'll do this. We'll do this. We'll do this. And all of a sudden I'm getting messages the day of, I feel a little sick. I feel a little sick. I feel a little sick. So either they jonesed joining the big mum bash, or they were sick. And so if they were sick, I hope they get well. But it's a very...
Are you calling out anybody
I'll call out a couple. Jack Tarasevich. I'm going to call him Jack Tarasevich.
That's only because of...
Greg McNabb showing up. So I'm going to call it Jack Tarasevich. If you're listening to the show, we're a little disappointed. You now owe us breakfast for the upcoming months to get back on our good sides. All right, well.
Okay.
Everybody, welcome to today's show. Odie, how was your 4th of July?
It apparently was worse than ours.
It was good? Yes.
Yeah, it was good.
It was good? What did you do for your 4th of July?
I just worked.
You just worked?
I just worked.
You worked a double shift, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, man, that's a lot of... Dang it. I kind of feel like I worked a double shift. But you know what? I did the prep in the morning.
Well,
and
yeah,
then the cooking.
You cook. You have your whole big, huge kitchen outside.
I do. What would you think of the potato chips? Were those okay?
Your potato chips were good.
Homemade potato chips.
You made homemade potato chips?
Homemade potato chips, grilled shrimp,
chicken.
Smoked chicken. Was it? Well, yeah, it was kind of smoked.
Kind of
chicken.
smoked. Yeah, and then green egg. So there you go. All right.
Hot dogs.
Hot dogs. You know, you were a little disappointed I didn't do my hamburgers though.
Yeah, man, I'm all about the hamburgers.
So okay, so the next year we'll have to put that back on the deal there. All right, here we go. You know what? We need to start today's show.
Now on today's show.
What are we talking about today, buddy?
Today on the show, Meta, formerly known as Facebook, is starting to crumble as CEO Mark Zuckerberg had many discouraging news to say to his company in last week's meeting.
Yeah.
We're going to go through this in one of our top stories.
We're going to talk about you, Mark.
We have drones delivering chemotherapy drugs. We have crypto's free reign coming to an end. We have the European Union and the United States government that's going to try to regulate cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
We have Lockbit. You're going to learn all about this in our Protect Yourself Today segment.
Yeah, you'll have to explain what that is.
420 victims of cybercrime just this year that they've been able to take care of. So they actually have a list of all the people that they've breached and what they got the payments for them. And they actually post it out so you can take a look at them. And it's kind of like the smaller version of Revo and some of these other cyber crimes out there.
Okay.
But they get a lot more.
Is this their prospectus? Is that what that is?
Yeah, it's kind of they get a lot more bang for their buck, though.
Hey,
so
let's check our quarterly earnings.
So we're going to talk about that. China is a victim of citizen data breach.
No way.
So if you want to find out anybody about anybody that lives in China, you can now purchase data for that on the dark web.
Okay.
And then, of course, we have our fan favorite letter segment backed on today's show. So that should be really good to get through, too. All right. Now it's time for the latest headlines in the world of technology.
What's happening in the world of technology? This is our top stories in the first 5 minutes.
You didn't do the question.
Oh, I didn't do the question, did I? You know what? Here we go. You know what? We need to open up with our question of the day, brought to you by Elderberry Boost. Visit elderberry-boost.com. Again, that's elderberry-boost.com for our loaded question of the day. Here's our loaded question.
Oh, okay.
If you were a teacher, what rule would you make?
Always be prepared.
Always be prepared. Is that a Boy Scout motto?
Oh, yeah.
Because that's already been taken.
Maybe I'm not allowed to make that one.
I was going to say it's probably already taken.
Okay.
So you have another one? Dead air.
If you don't like the class, don't be in the class.
Okay. If you don't like the class, there you go.
Yeah,
okay.
If you don't like the class, don't be in the class.
All right. That's that. So that means if you're in like a requirement class in grade school and you're in 7th grade science, and if you don't like the class, I guess in Mike's
get the hell out.
All right. Odie, you're up.
Ooh, probably a mandatory fun hour.
A mandatory fun hour in a class?
Is that the whole class?
No.
Okay. So mine would be no homework, no tests, and anything that we do as a test is all open book.
Well, how can you have an open book test without having tests?
Well, you could have a test. You say, okay, we're going to do a chapter test, and you can find stuff back in it. And so I would never have to correct papers.
So anybody in your class would just automatically pass.
Well, as long as they got a heartbeat, they got a heartbeat and they show up, then they can get at least a B or a C.
As long as you put effort in.
Yeah, you should enjoy the class.
Yeah, that's how education should work.
All right, okay, here we go. Now we're going to go into our top story, number 1. Meta slashes hiring plans.
Let's talk about
here we go. And it says that you need to be able to prepare for fierce headwinds. We have an audio clip to get us up to speed on the cracking foundation of the once giant Meta Facebook.
Facebook parent Meta Platforms has cut plans to hire engineers by at least 30% this year, according to CEO Mark Zuckerberg. During an all-hands meeting, Zuckerberg called the current downturn the worst he's seen in recent history. In all, Meta is reducing its hiring target for engineers in 2022 to around 6,500. Zuckerberg telling his employees, once again in his words, realistically, there are probably a bunch of people at the company who shouldn't be here. Adding that we are in serious times here, and the headwinds are fierce.
All right, so the headwinds are fierce.
Yeah. Hey, this is the biggest downturn he's been witnessed.
Well, the downturn is when your leadership of a company all of a sudden starts berating your employees and tells them that there's a bunch of people at the company that shouldn't be here. How does that instill confidence or
it
have
doesn't.
people? Okay.
It really amps up the toxicity in a lot of places.
Well, did you realize that the world's biggest social media company lost about half of its market value this year?
No way.
Yep.
Could
After
it be?
Meta reportedly that data active users on its flagship Facebook app have experienced a quarterly decline for the first time.
Yeah, well, all things die, buddy.
The motto, let's work harder, comes at a tricky time, conceding that there are two major strategic pivots that they are currently looking at right now. The number one is to beat the competition at the short video app called TikTok. Let me just tell you, TikTok is literally taking down Facebook. It is taking it down with many short videos, people sharing the videos on there, having conversations. This is the biggest threat out there.
Well, yeah, but there's also been some protests against Facebook.
There's a big group of individuals right now that are kind of done with the Meta.
So I'm kind of wondering how much they have to do with this loss of earnings.
That could have a big part to it too. But you know what? The big downturn has been just this last 2 months. So I bet you coming up, the quarterly reports are going to be even worse. So this, again, they normally are always about a month or two behind. And so the protests and everybody kind of switching platforms has happened. Now, Mark Zuckerberg told his investors in April that they're going to have their new part of their company called Reels, which is going to compete against TikTok. Now, Reels, I don't know nobody using that. Odie, you're just shaking your head no. Have you looked at any Reels or do you look at TikTok?
You know what Reels are? They're TikToks that are reposted into Instagram and Facebook.
That's right. So
That's
the original
millennial
contact
way
is
of getting
TikTok, and they're just reposting them back into Reels. So I'll tell you, Reels better.
I never look at Reels.
They're
I don't
not
look at Reels either.
performing as well as on TikTok as well.
I barely look at Facebook.
TikTok is pretty entertaining now. I actually spend a lot of time on TikTok. There's so many interesting fix-it. I'm a big do-it-yourself guy. You know, you get somebody in there that can take a candle and he's pulling out the side dents of a car and he's heating them up, and all of a sudden he's doing body work. I mean, that's some interesting stuff. Well, Zuckerberg also said that his company is having a division because they're going to be spending all of their time with a laser focus on their headset codename Cambria for the second half of the year, which is essentially a hardware platform. They're a software-based company that is moving into the virtual reality world on a hardware-based platform. That's a big shift for a company. Now, I know that they want to be this virtual reality king.
They're trying to be a king of something that a lot of people just aren't really interested in anymore.
I have not opened my VR Oculus Quest essentially for about 6 to 8 months. You know what? I enjoyed the VR for the first month and a half it was out. It was pretty cool. And then after that, I would much rather sit down and play traditional video games than I would in the VR world itself.
Just
I got a little
simpler.
Sick. Yeah,
it's simpler.
And sometimes I get sick with all the motion activity that was in there.
Yeah.
All right. And very interesting that Meta is now looking for the United States government to help step in and put sanctions against its competitor TikTok to take it out of the knees, since the platform has been crushing it with sales.
I'm not sure.
So now all of a sudden they're saying,
I don't know how that's going to happen. You know.
Well, they're saying because of the privacy. I know. I don't know.
He's been yanked in front of Congress for doing
stuff that he's not supposed to do. And now he's going to go to the U.S. government and say, we're much better than China's based TikTok. So you need to have us become a part of what's going on.
Yeah.
There.
Well, this was a problem several months ago with TikTok.
Yeah.
They've been trying to.
So I'll tell you this. If people, the consumers, want TikTok, your phones and the platforms are going to allow you to have that app on their platform. They want to use that app. They're not going to ban it.
From a human standpoint, I think it's really interesting how these pressures are creating the same situations that are repeated over and over and over again in these types of environments where he is getting angry and becoming more
You say isolated, more direct on his
more
anger?
direct. Yeah, he's just like, there's people that don't belong here.
Yeah, so
you
now
guys aren't carrying your load, and we need, and with this attrition and turning up the heat on performance management to make people work harder. That always, this kind of stuff is a short-term solution, always is.
Yeah.
Because humans respond quicker to a fear-based thing than a pleasure-based thing.
Correct.
Right? But it's a short-term fix, and it creates more problems in the long term. So he might get another upturn, but he's creating an environment that nobody wants to be in.
Yeah, they're all moving to Google down there in California. They're moving to other companies.
And they always do it like, oh, we're gonna be slimming up things and streamlining and stuff like that, because you're gonna get the people that are just all about Facebook that are working their butts off but it's creating a toxic environment. So.
I'm sure it is. You know what? I'm okay to watch the demise of Facebook, though. I'll just be honest. If I can sit back, I mean, there's not.
Are you really?
I really am. Yeah, you know what? I'd be okay with that. So we're moving a lot of the tech time stuff over to TikTok and some other stuff. So we're kind of hoping, then maybe kind of pushing.
Are you jumping on the TikTok bandwagon?
Well, I kind of am. Absolutely.
No.
All right, you got story number 2 there, Mike.
Yeah, the National Health Service in Britain are having trials using drones to deliver chemotherapy drugs. These drugs are carrying these vital medications across distances that it takes a lot more effort to do by car or rail.
Okay.
Delivering chemo by drone is another extraordinary development for cancer patients. It shows how the NHS will stop at nothing to ensure people get the treatment that they need as promptly as possible, while also cutting costs. So right now they're being flown from Portsmouth to a hospital on the Isle of Wight. So they're essentially taking the drugs from one hospital to another. It's not a private drop source, but they're taking it from this hospital to the next hospital using drones
instead of going over
landmass
and rivers and different areas.
One of the problems with chemotherapy drugs is they expire so quickly. Some of them expire very rapidly. So if you're caught in traffic for too long, you're creating an issue. So we'll see how this turns out.
It could be another way of Amazon with their drone delivery now, using it for something that's actually good.
This is something that I think is more conscious, more in the human conscious realm than
using
like
technology for good.
Yeah, because you're using it to get medications to somebody instead of
your latte or your
getting
coffee,
getting your latte to your house
diapers
in the epitome of entitlement.
Okay. Yep. All right. We got story number 3. Crypto's free reign may be coming to a close as lawmakers in the U.S. and Europe are considering ways to regulate cryptocurrency and crack down on money laundering and other illicit activities.
Regulations. Think that's why?
Was that?
You think that's why?
No, they're doing it so they can get money out of it. They can tax it.
They can tax it.
Regulation is coming for crypto after more than a decade where cryptocurrencies and regulated technologies have surged, boomed, and busted in a regulatory vacuum. Lawmakers in both the U.S. and Europe are writing new rules for a sector that has grown dangerously large in both value and reach. Torching $2.9 trillion at its peak in November of 2021, the ongoing crush on crypto markets has only strengthened rule makers' resolve. On Thursday of last week, the EU institution announced an agreement for 2 landmark pieces of regulation. The Market of Crypto Asset Act. Listen to this. The Market in Crypto Asset Act, the MICA. You're going to hear about that for the next 30 years. Regulators must provide cryptocurrency services with an anti-money laundering package impossible to allow the checks and balances of cryptocurrency to transfer back and forth to individuals laundering money. In the U.S., several proposals have been put forward over the past few months. One notable example is the wider range bipartisan bill sponsored by the Republican Senator Cynthia Loomis and Democratic Senator Kristen Gillibrand, with the crypto industry has saluted as beneficial, while others have condemned it as capitalism to the crypto lobbyists.
Well, yeah, that's what everybody doing crypto is screaming about, right? Oh.
So what's going to happen here? Is the European Union and the U.S. going to make laws that make it so that you have to have exchanges with full transparency?
Yeah, I mean, this is part of the system, right?
Well, what's the system?
No government wants you to be making money without getting their piece of it, right? And it also speaks to the law, the stuff that's been going on with everybody getting hacked and losing millions of dollars.
Okay.
Right.
So I don't know. The whole idea of crypto was that it was supposed to be anonymous and you could transfer stuff. Now it got popular, so now we're going to decide to come on in here.
We've been talking about this for as long
2 years
as we've done the show because crypto is going to get regulated at some point.
It will.
And
I hope they only regulate certain coins though. Like you got your Litecoin and you got your Bitcoin, you got your Ethereum. Maybe you regulate those as the 2 or 3 main ones, but I still think that people should be able to get their Dogecoin and all these other coins.
So you would like to see a more stable market in the higher value coins and a less stable.
Yeah, kind of like the NASDAQ 500 market, right? You got all these big boys in here that you kind of make sure you regulate and take care of how they do up and down. And if you want the cryptocurrency market to be based on something, based on those 2 or 3.
Yeah, the question really is once crypto gets regulated, what's the next one going to be?
They're going to come out with something else too, right? That's the whole idea. All right,
it's going to be meta. It's going to be virtual.
It's going to be virtual currency.
Virtual currency.
Is that what Zuckerberg's trying to do? All right, Mike, our time's up. We got through the top stories of the week. If you want to learn more about this, please visit us online at techtimeradio.com. Click on our episode section or blog to get more details on these stories and features. Now it's time to get ready for our whiskey tasting during our break. But up next, we have Protect Yourself Today, talking about a bunch of breaches that affect the UK and China. We'll be back in a moment. You're listening to Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mumm. Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's up?
Are you interested in traveling now again?
Of course, isn't everybody?
Yes, I think they are. And I got a deal for you.
Tell me.
Affordable World is excited to introduce a brand new tour.
Oh, is that the new Inspiring Istanbul and Malta tour?
That's correct.
All right. They will have you exploring the timeless mystique of Istanbul, where you'll lose yourself in its multicultural texture and lively atmosphere. Then discover the tiny island paradise of Malta, a hidden gem where you can escape to see spectacular beaches, rolling fields, and endless vineyards.
You can save $100 per person with the code that we're going to give you right here at Tech Time Radio called Hidden Gem. Again, just like Malta, if you type in the code Hidden Gem at checkout, you can save $100 per person. Airfare and accommodation are included. Visit affordableworld.com to book today. You visit the 2 incredible destinations on one single trip. The discount code Hidden Gem can be entered at checkout. It cannot be combined with any other offers, and the promotion runs July 1st through September 30th. Make sure to sign up now. Again, visit affordableworld.com. That's affordableworld.com to start your vacation adventure. All right, welcome back to Tech Time Radio. As we just had our first whiskey tasting, there is a lot of loud sighs and O's, and so we're going to be talking about our whiskey selection, which is the Woodinville Bourbon Cask Strength Barrel Select. 116.74 proof, $69.95. The drink is the highest quality that includes the finest ingredients, carefully selected for its distinct flavor. It's a bold drink with taste, but it's smooth enough to add an additional kick to any favorite mixed drink. Now, this is done by the Woodinville Whiskey Company.
Got kick.
Straight bourbon. They started in 2010 by Orland Sorensen and Brett Carley. Woodinville is located in the state of Washington. The company sources all of its staple grains exclusively from the Ullman family farm in Quincy, Washington. The grains are mashed, distilled, and barreled at their Woodinville distillery and then turned back to the Cascade Mountains to the company's private barrel houses. Well, the bottles state no age. The company has confirmed that they use 5-year-old bourbon in their straight bourbon product. Woodinville sources their bourbons from Independent Stave Company in Lebanon, Missouri. And according to the company, one of the first craft distilleries they worked with, so they get to be a part of the Craft Distillery Series creation. They send Woodinville 24 barrels with different stave thicknesses, seasoned wood, toasting, and charring combinations. Out of this process, Woodinville settled with their barrels containing 18-month seasoned oak, and the barrels are finished with a heavy toast and a heavy char. Well, it is some initial sweeter notes of caramel and vanilla. It comes on strong with more earthly tones of oak, white pepper, leather, and strong tobacco, which lingers for quite a while.
Yeah.
What'd you think of that?
All of that.
All of that?
Yeah. Big kick up front.
It has a big kick. So this is we're broadcasting from
this is the biggest,
Washington State. This is a big kick.
That's the biggest kick I've gotten out of a bourbon ever
On our show?
Yeah.
Or ever.
Ever.
So this has
Ever.
got
It has
really
some
bite.
Me hard.
It takes a good time there. All right,
It
Odie.
definitely lingers.
It lingers a
I
lot.
don't like that it lingers.
You don't like the lingering
No.
taste? Oh, I
Well, you don't like leather and tobacco? What's wrong with you?
All right. Well, we're going to see at the end of the show where you're going to give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down as we do each of our shows. Mike Roday and myself decide if the whiskey is good enough for our taste, not whiskey connoisseurs, but if we like it, it gets a thumbs up, and if not, it gets a thumbs down.
Okay.
All
What do we
right.
do it now?
Well, now that we got our whiskey out of the way, we are ready to go to our current news on breaches, cyber attacks, and identity theft across the globe. Mike, this is your uplifting, inspirational part of the show that you love so much as we begin our next segment.
Protect yourself today.
All right, protect yourself today. In a big potential breach, a hacker's offering to sell a Chinese police database. So do you want a police database of every citizen in China? Well, let me tell you about this. For about 20,000...
Every citizen?
Every citizen. This is the universal repository collection of information.
Just a billion Chinese.
Of the Chinese individuals itself. So for $200,000, an unidentified person or group is offering what is described as the data on 1 billion Chinese citizens. A sample seemed to show that the data is 100% genuine. China police preside over an extensive surveillance system, but protecting data often falls to local officials with little experience overseeing data security. And what some may say is this is the largest breach of Chinese personal data ever. A hacker is offering for sale a Shanghai police database that could contain information on perhaps 1 billion Chinese citizens. The hacker said in a post on a forum on the dark web, including terabyte of information on 1 billion Chinese individuals. The New York Times was able to verify parts of the sample of the 750,000 records the hacker released to prove the authenticity of the data. The unidentified person or group is selling the data for 10 Bitcoin or about $200,000. In recent years, China's government has worked hard to tighten controls over a leaky industry that has internet fraud abounding. Yet the focus of the enforcement has often centered on tech companies. The government itself, which has long struggled to adequately protect the realms of its data, its citizens, is often exempt from strict rules and penalties aimed at other internet firms. Even so, the sample release does appear to be real. One sample contained 250,000 Chinese citizens' personal information, including name, sex, address, government, issued ID, number, and birth. In some cases, even individuals' professional, marital status, authenticity, or ethnicity. Sorry,
there you go.
Ethnicity, education level, and whether a person has been labeled a key person by the country's public sector of ministry could be found. Shanghai's Public Security Bureau repeatedly refused to respond to the questions about the hacker's claim. Multiple calls to the Cybersecurity Administration of China went unanswered.
Well, maybe Meta would like all that information,
So they can sell their information into China.
So they can get their quarterly earnings.
Yeah, I think
back.
Meta's actually. I think they're kind of restricted from a lot of the stuff in
Oh,
China
yeah.
because they didn't meet some of the Chinese goals. So you know what? Maybe Meta will change its focus, and all of a sudden they'll start.
That seems like a relatively low price for that many data.
So what that means is it's probably not the most recent database. So he probably found speaking as not as a hacker, but speaking as an expert.
as a
No. Speaking as an expert that deals with hackers and individuals, my guess that I can make is it's probably an archive database. You probably found it on an archive database server in some back-end area that wasn't as protected as the active database. So the reason the price is lower is probably it's not most up to date. It's probably 2, 3, 5 years old worth of information.
Either that or he's either
No, because he would have asked for a lot more.
Or
they would have asked for a lot
are
more.
new at this, or it's just a blue light special on it.
Nah, I don't think that's the case. I think it's old data. That's what I'm seeing online too. But
Okay.
not that I went online to find it more information.
Let's talk about the British Army.
Okay, let's talk about the British Army's YouTube Twitter account
We're
hacked
talking about everybody else.
and used to promote NFTs. So the accounts have been restored, but the Army is still investigating the incident. The British Army is investigating a breach of its YouTube and Twitter accounts. Hackers posted YouTube videos on cryptocurrency using images of Tesla's CEO Elon Musk and retweeted posts discussing NFTs on Twitter, BBC News reported on Monday. It's unclear at this time who's behind the breach, but both account names were changed, and the Twitter profile picture at one point featured a cartoon drawing of an ape. The British Army...
Bored ape.
Yeah,
Bored ape
no, it
dudes?
wasn't even that. I think it was just
a different one.
Yeah. The British Army and the UK's Ministry of Defence both acknowledged the breach and said that the issues have been resolved. The office Twitter posted the breach of the Army's Twitter and YouTube accounts occurred earlier today, but they've been resolved and the investigation is underway. The Ministry of Defence said the Army takes information security extremely serious, and until the investigation is complete, it's inappropriate to comment further.
Everybody takes these things extremely seriously.
After it happens.
After it happens.
Yeah, not before it happens, because that's time and effort and money you have to spend to take care of it. So we'll just wait till the breach happens, and then we'll make a mistake. All right, here we go. The ransomware Lockbit.
Okay. What is Lockbit?
You want, so Lockbit is this smaller ransomware company. So if you have a ransomware, we'll use the NFL for an example, right? So the ransomware, the big companies, you have like the Dallas Cowboys, the New York Giants, and then all of a sudden, you have like these smaller known entities, and I don't want to get the NFL people, but let's say the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're not normally a powerhouse in the NFL. They've kind of struggled for quite a long time here in the NFL circles. It would be like that small NFL team, the Jaguars, all of a sudden keep on doing business and business and business, and they can never become the greats in the circle. But what they do is instead of being so great in the hacking circle, they're just getting more and more and more customers, because instead of hitting 1 or 2 customers each month, they're deciding to hit 200 to 300 customers a month to try to see what they can get for information that's there. So they're kind of the whole bargain basement. I'm going to send out 1.5 million different spam things. Hopefully you click on some of those, and it's kind of your blue light special, your value cryptocurrency group itself. Are you doing okay there?
I'm dying over here.
Is that you need some more whiskey?
The whiskey just did that to me.
Oh, okay. So they have just released their first half of the year reports. So the cyber gangs like to do this. And essentially, they had 420 victims that were claimed by the Lockbit 2.0 storefront in the first half of the year. The true total could be significantly higher, and the success rate of payout is much higher than other rivals. In the first half of the year, though, with more than 420 victims, it essentially claimed the Lockbit.20 franchise as the premier entry-level franchise to get acquainted with. So if you're trying to become a hacker...
Lockbit is the place to be.
Yeah, so if you're trying to get a new type of deal, Lockbit is where it's going to need to be. Now, the reason you can tell this information is because each page of their cryptocurrency is published on the showcase site Lockbit 2.0. Therefore, a unique ID number is associated with each one of their data breaches. So you can go and take a look at who they claimed and when they claimed information. This includes such companies as Bridgestone Tires, Bayview Asset Management, and many others of their cyber breaches. So it's kind of like a ledger of hacks. They keep them all number-based, so you can go back and take a look at them and see how they did. Such a level of success of the group's extortion operation would be higher than estimates of other ransomware mafia franchise with double the extortion rate. The consequences in between 25 to 30%. So if you're sending out 100 emails here. They're getting 30 out of the 100 emails themselves. But if you take a look at other companies, essentially Darkside, Netwalker, Revel, and Bobek, lead to an estimated payment rate of about 28%. But the small company Lockbit2O seems to do more transactions than the bigger ransomware groups themselves.
What does that even mean?
Okay, so what this means, so this is like, so when you were a kid growing on up.
I'm just going to cough every time I talk.
Okay.
That's how it's going to work right now.
So I grew up kind of on the poorer side of things, right? So I used to go when we went back to school shopping, it was JCPenney's and Sears, right? And then if I was lucky enough, maybe I'd walk through the Bon Marché or Macy's for some of the clothes that I do back to school shopping, but not a whole lot. So it was more the value. This is essentially now creating tiers of hacking groups. So there's these high-end prestigious groups, which really get very few concentrated attacks, but they get a lot more money payout versus the value added of where we're going to send out lots of attacks and kind of get the Sears,
they're
JCPenney.
just a boutique.
So
They're a boutique operation.
Well, no, they're kind of more of the everyday operation, right?
Gourmet operation.
Yeah. So they're this is just interesting now that they released their results. They're comparing them against the other criminals in the digital mafia world, and they just want everybody to know that they're kind of the best bang for your buck if you're an entry-level individual.
There we go. They released their prospectus, and they're looking for investors.
That's right. That's right. Don't get caught by them. And we'll be talking about ways to not click on links in our next segment. Well, that ends our Protect Yourself today. Up next, we have This Week in Technology. So now would be a great time to enjoy a little whiskey on the side, as we will be doing so during the break. You're listening to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm. See you in a few minutes.
Hey, Mike,
What?
have you heard of elderberry?
Only in reference to a Monty Python movie.
Well, let me tell you, Elderberry Boost, again, that's elderberry-boost.com.
Elderberry Boost.
Yes, Mike, that's Elderberry Boost.
You can choose organic Elderberry Boost, that 8-ounce size that's available on sale right now at $11.99. But you're listening here right now on TechTime Radio, so you need to go to Elderberry, that's ELDERBERRY-boost.com, and get some today.
Elderberry Boost.
Elderberry is an all-natural organic immune system booster and antiviral. Elderberry is known to actively fight against viruses, including colds and the flu. It also works as a natural remedy for allergies, cancer, digestion, heart disease, high cholesterol, headache, toothache, weight loss, and reduced inflammation.
It's a natural and healthy diuretic and has many antiviral properties. While it is famous for fighting the flu, it is effective for any illness.
Elderberry Boost was created to provide a quality organic elderberry to their customers. After searching years ago for a perfect elderberry syrup, none could be found, so they essentially created their own homemade recipe.
If you would like to get 15% off your first order of Elderberry Boost, just put in the discount code TechTime at checkout.
Again, that's elderberry-boost.com.
Elderberry Boost.
Hello, my name is Arthur, and my life's work is connecting people with coffee. StoriCoffee is a small batch specialty coffee company that uses technology to connect people to each product resource, which allows farmers to unlock their economic freedom. Try our Medium Roast Founder Series coffee, which is an exotic bourbon variety that is smooth, fresh, and elegant at StoriCoffee.com. That's STORI coffee.com. Today you can get your first bag free when you subscribe at StoriCoffee.com with code TechTime. That's STORI coffee.com.
And now, let's look back at this week in technology.
June 9th, 1981, Donkey Kong and Mario's Birthday, the game that launches two of the most famous characters in video game history, is released for sale. Donkey Kong was created by Nintendo, a Japanese playing card and toy company turned fledgling video game developer who was trying to create a hit game for the North American market. Unable at the time to acquire a license to create a video game based on the Popeye character, Nintendo decides to create a game mirroring the characters and rivalry of Popeye and Bluto. Donkey Kong is named after the game's villain, a pet gorilla gone rogue. The game's hero is originally called Jumpman, but as retroactive renamed Mario once the game became popular and the Nintendo decided to use the characters in future games. Due to the similarity between Donkey Kong and King Kong, Universal Studios sued Nintendo, claiming Donkey Kong violated their trademark. Kong, however, is a common Japanese slang for gorilla. The lawsuit was ruled in favor of Nintendo, and the success of Donkey Kong helped Nintendo become one of the most dominant companies in the video game market. That was This Week in Technology. Have you ever wanted to watch some tech time history? With over 2 years of video, podcasts, and blog information, you can visit techtimeradio.com and watch our older shows, or join us on the Tech Timers Facebook group to talk with us all live all the time. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we have a Nathan Nugget of the Week and letters just around the corner after Marc's Mumbles. We'll see you after the break.
An accident claimed her daughter's lives. Her husband's life hangs in the balance, and Rue feels like she's losing her mind. A brand new psychological thriller from author Eve S. Evans, available for pre-order today. As Rue tries to figure out how to be alone in the family home, strange noises, voices, and shadows reveal themselves to her. Questions bubble to the surface. Are Rue's daughters haunting her? Why can't she remember what happened when they went off the bridge into the icy water below? Beneath the Water by Eve S. Evans. Available on Amazon June 29th.
All right, welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. I'm your host and technology expert, Nathan Mumm is excited to have.
Are you sure it is
Yes,
Nathan? Are you
that's
Nathan?
I am Nathan Mumm. I'm excited to
Okay.
have my human solutions consultant extraordinaire, Mike Gourday, who helps keep things on the level for the common everyday person with our national weekly technology show. We want you to enjoy, sit back, and go a little as we talk technology with news of the week. Now, are you okay over there?
I don't know.
Man, I have not seen
that shot of whiskey just clenched my throat.
It just clenched your throat, huh?
Yeah.
Are you going to be able to make it through? I mean, you've been saying you're fine, and then you're coughing up.
Well,
a
that's
lung.
good. Yeah, it comes and goes.
It comes and goes. Okay, well,
crazy.
Okay, you know what? Let's see
What are we going to talk about?
Let's see what Marc Gregoire thinks about this whiskey.
Okay.
And now for Marc's Mumbles.
All right, we got the Woodinville Bourbon Cask Strength Barrel Select, 116.74 proof, $69.95. Now, Marc says this is their flagship 5-year straight bourbon, straight from the barrel, undiluted and unfiltered. This particular bottle is a store pick. Many of you may have heard of the terms of private barrel or store pick. Well, these words are commonly used amongst experienced whiskey drinkers. They may not mean much to those who are not. The concept of a private barrel and a store pick is pretty simple. A retailer, bar, or restaurant wants their exclusive barrel of whiskey, and they approach the distillery or distributor to work out the best deal. It is bottled and labeled in such a way that it makes it clear that it's something other than ordinary standard release whiskey. Does this make it better than the standard release? Well, not necessarily. It really depends on the individual that is tasting and selecting the specific barrel. Also, with people having different flavor palettes, you need to find the store that matches your particular likes and dislikes. When Marc initially opened the bottle, he had a hard time drinking it as the dry oak and tobacco were overwhelming. After the bottle opened up for a few months, it calmed down a bit, but it's still not a desirable pour for Marc. In the end, this is thumbs down. And although it's one of his favorites for his brother-in-law, it's a matter of your palate. Let's see what Nathan and Mike think of this bourbon in the studio.
Yeah, I already know I already know what I feel about it.
What do you feel about it? Is it you got those great oak tastes?
This has completely destroyed me today. I don't know what the heck's going on. I took a drink and suddenly I can't breathe and my eyes are watering.
Maybe you're allergic to something in here.
That's possible.
Possible. Your throat's gonna swell
seize up.
Yeah,
conk out.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get some CPR experts in here. I'm not helping you, so I'll just be
okay. I'll just watch.
I'll just watch. I'll count for the person. All right, here we go.
Okay.
Well, Marc's thanks for that mumble. Mike, we're definitely gonna need to see if this is something that we want to have on our shelves coming into the year, and share this with the audience. Don't give it away on what you're feeling.
I wouldn't give that away.
All
ever.
right. Okay, well, now let's move forward into the nugget of the week.
How to see a man about a dog.
This is your nugget of the week.
Wow, you both of you guys are not handling this whiskey okay. I'm gonna have to come and run the board. I'm gonna have to come on over here and be the side person. All right. Well, we got some important information for 4th of July technology sales news that we want to share with everybody before the crazy Amazon holiday self-created Prime Day starts. Well, are you looking for a 70-inch TV? Right now is the time to buy. The 70-inch Insignia F30 series 4K TV is $500. Was regularly $650. It is on sale now until supplies last. It is Insignia's 50 QLD TV placed on a Stevie stand for streaming apps. Best Buy's 4th of July sale has a killer deal on this big screen Fire TV from Insignia. The F30 series 4K television sets up in minutes and lets you stream all of your favorite content from Netflix, Prime Video, Hulu, Disney Plus, and all others in crisp Ultra HD. And it comes with the handy Alexa voice remote for hands-free control. It's a great option by itself, but especially if you're looking to have it as a part of your Alexa smart home ecosystem. So you can just add it and say TV on to have it come on and TV off to turn it off remotely. You can purchase this sale online right now while supplies last. It's available at bestbuy.com. And again, that's the Insignia F50 QLED TV. Essentially, can you believe you can buy a 70-inch television for $500? I remember when 70-inch televisions were like $30,000. I worked for a billionaire, and when we wanted to put in anything above a 65-inch television, I mean, it was like $10K, $20K, $30K. Now you can get one 70-inch television for $500.
Everybody wants bigger.
Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I used to buy these high-end televisions, and right now I got a cheapo $500 65-inch down in my downstairs living room area.
I feel like there's a 70-inch.
I'm thinking about it, man. I looked at that ad awful long doing this research, and I was like,
particularly,
it was in the cart.
Particularly while you were,
it was in the cart, then it was out of the cart, then it was in the cart, then it was out of the cart. So, are you looking for a laptop?
No.
What if I told you I can get you an HP laptop for $280, and it's a full laptop, not one of these
chump ones,
not like a Google Chromebook. It's not a Chromebook. This is a full laptop. The HP laptop 400, and it comes with essentially, listen to this, 8 gigs of RAM, not like some pared down 4 gigs of RAM, 8 gigs of RAM. That's twice the memory you normally get at this price point. It comes with a 14-inch monitor with the laptop, and Celeron CPU, and it comes with, listen to this, 128 gig SSD. Normally you get the 64 gig like little eMMC storage that's normally built into these units, but you actually get 128 gigabyte SSD built into it. And all of this for under $300. Just go to hp.com, purchase today. These deals will not last long. It's a part of the 4th of July special, so you probably have until Friday to get those taken care of. All right. Well, those are two good deals to pass, or too good of deals to pass up. So now
somebody's waving at
you. Yeah, she's waving at me. I got you. Now we're going to move right on to letters.
Letters. We get letters. We get back and back of letters. Oh, letters. We get letters. And the letters all have songs.
All right, so you're going to choose one or two. We'll do one of these. All right, so I got an email here from T-Mobile stores at info155@bmxlightmqx.net. I got this email at 5:49 a.m. on Thursday, June 30th. T-Mobile store. Important information regarding number 13147. Immediately click here. Now, let's take a look at what happened at 5:48. A minute before that, I received an email from T-Mobile stores at info385@gzvo.net. Important information, number 29955. And then let's see what happens after that. At 5:50, I received another email from T-Mobile stores saying important information, 65813. And after that, I have an additional one, T-Mobile stores. Guess what? I got 4 emails, all within the span of 2 minutes, all telling me to click on a link that hits my mailbox from T-Mobile store. No, why would I? No, I just
always clicking on.
Well, I'm not going to click on these ones. These are so badly that you sent me a spam email of the same exact information, cut and paste that was an automated script. No, I automatically deleted those and saved some space. All right, you got one over there?
Oh, I got some.
You got. So, do you notice that they're both the same? Did you notice that? Look,
I'm looking at two that look very similar.
okay, the same type of deal. This is like value. It's kind of like that value. Hackers are just doing value stuff. What do you have over there?
Well, I have one for Norton.
Okay,
and then I have one that just says invoice NITT 446 details, but they both have the same formatting. It looks like they were sent within a day of each other.
Okay.
They're both bills, basically. There's a $441.99 bill.
Okay.
For the invoice for some weird
for Norton antivirus, supposedly.
Well, Norton antivirus is $370.56.
Okay. Well, I think it's the same product.
Well,
is it the same product? I think they tried selling me the same product.
It might be, but I have a graphic
difference.
Here,
okay.
So.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is a bill that's coming in, or a
fake bill.
Quote bill.
Okay.
All right. Did you click on
I did, but see, so look at that. You see that they sent this bill. Most of the time when you receive a bill from a company, you receive a bill to the one person itself, right?
Right.
So take a look at how many people were sent on that 2 line right there.
There's a lot there.
There's a lot. So if you're going to send an email for a bill and you have 20 people on the 2 line,
they're not BCC, they're CC.
They're correct. They're all on the bill itself. I don't know why anybody would click on that email. If I'm getting a bill that I deserve to pay somebody for a service that I got, I don't think they're going to put 20 other people on the email that I've never heard of to send a bill out.
Well, again, they're preying on your psychology. That's how they get you to click on these things.
Oh, speaking about psychology, let's move to Mike's mesmerizing moment.
What's my
This is Mike's mesmerizing moment, presented by StoriCoffee. Visit StoriCoffee.com.
All right, your mesmerizing moment is, why do people click on links? We've talked about this a little bit before,
Okay.
but why do people click?
It depends on how they're trying to get you. Like with these bills, some people might click on them because they don't know what this is.
Okay.
Right. So they're like, what the heck is this? I don't know this, but they click on it anyway.
Okay.
A lot of these scams, they take advantage of fear-based situations, which is what this would be.
All right.
Or scarcity situations where they're telling you that if you don't do something, you're going to lose the opportunity that they're selling. So they get you to click on the link. You end up, well, it depends on what type of phishing email this is.
Okay.
Right.
But are we just trained to click on? Who trained
us?
It's
not training. It's our psychology. It's how we're built. It's our survival mechanism.
Okay.
These things trigger our survival mechanism. And anything that triggers our survival mechanism, it bypasses our executive functioning, or the part of the brain that's able to say, no, I don't have this. This is wrong. So what it does is it bypasses my executive function, and then it creates a situation where I need to respond. And that's where people just click. And it could be the worst thing in the world, the worst grammar, whatever, because we're not paying attention. We're not using our judgment, and we're allowing our basic drives to do. We're allowing our autopilot to run.
All right. Speaking of worst things ever, how we gonna do on our pick of the day? We have our Woodinville Bourbon Cask Strength Barrel Select. 116.74 proof, $69.95. Mr. Gourdet, thumbs up or thumbs down?
I think I'm going to give this a thumbs down. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but it really didn't do me a solid there, buddy.
All right, Odie, how about you?
I'd like to say a thumbs down. I'm usually able to finish my little shot every week.
Yep.
I can't finish mine today.
You're gonna drop
Thumbs
it out.
down. Double
Jump
thumbs
down.
down.
You know what? I'm going to give it a thumbs down also.
What?
So we got
Not
a
you.
3 thumbs down. This has been a great show. We enjoyed you guys being a part. Remember, the science of tomorrow starts with it. technology of today. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on TechTime Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to techtimeradio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/techtimeradio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at TechTime Radio, remember, Mumm's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.